Hi everybody, Nathan again. This one's a little bit different than usual. This is the Take 10 challenge where I challenge myself to do at least 10 minutes a day of art for myself, no matter what else is happening. This one's slightly different because I recorded it with my phone, and I recorded it someplace different from usual. I did this one at work, and I'm not talking to you live as I draw here. This is a voiceover recorded later. The ambient noise from where I was recording was basically music, so I'm sure no one would appreciate hearing that, and I don't want to get in trouble for copyright infringement for Tony Bennett singing Christmas carols, so I'm just going to do voiceover for this. Pretty much what I thought I'd do today is just a quick little monster. I want to try out my new blue color erase pencil again. You probably saw last time, or maybe you didn't see last time. Apologies again. That was really blurry. I didn't realize how bad it was until I'd already recorded the episode, and I didn't have time to do another one. Duh, right? Time is sort of the big issue for all this crap. Anyway, so I just went to one of my default reptilian swamp creature kind of guys. Lately I've been drawing a lot of pupilless eyes. I'm not sure if that means something about me or what, but anyway, I'm loving this new color erase pencil. It's the lines come in very faintly. I mean, you're seeing them on the screen about as dark as I was able to see them on the paper. But the great thing is, like I said before, it's erasable, so you don't have to worry about having too much build-up. I draw really sketchy, so I end up with tons of lines, and I usually only find one true one. I need to practice that more. I need to find one true line kind of stuff faster. But the cool thing is I can erase parts out. I can do a really sketchy version of everything, and then ink it after, and the ink doesn't have to worry about the ink rolling off the heavy wax buildup from the standard color pencil. So I've been thinking a bit about more serious things than this, although to me monsters are pretty serious. Here I break out the brush pen, just showing you what it is. It's just a Pentel pocket brush pen, but I got this weird gold variant. Not sure where it's from, but I just needed another one. That was the only one they had in stock. It works pretty much exactly the same. My inking technique, as you'll notice, is slapdash. The reason this looks kind of awkward here, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but I was holding the camera or the phone with my other hand, and you'll notice it goes out of focus a few times when my hand's in the frame. Sorry about that. It's an autofocus problem on the camera and the phone, and that wooden lip at the bottom of the frame there is also sticking up about 1.5 inches, so my hand was sort of suspended over the paper. I felt like I was drawing I don't know, like hanging from my feet or something over a canvas. Anyway, it forced me to be a lot more careful, which is probably a good thing. But what I've been thinking about is the art show coming up that I mentioned a while back. Locals are going to be putting together just a self-sponsored kind of thing, just try to get some interest in our work. And I've got a few pieces I want to put in, but I want to try to make some more stuff, like some serious, so-called serious stuff, like paintings, things people will pay attention to more than just a little pen sketch of a swamp monster. And I'm trying to think about how to be more deliberate about everything, art-wise. Things like this, I can do these kind of things to this level of quality with no planning at all. I didn't think about what this guy was going to look like before I started drawing him. I didn't plan any of it, really. And the sketch is the sketch, and then I just ink the sketch. And the way I ink is I make it up again, basically. So a lot of it's being done over. And that's not to say that I'm so great at making monsters or anything that I don't need to practice or anything like that. It's actually kind of the opposite. I think with some planning, some direction, I can probably do a lot better job. And for something bigger than a sketch, like say a painting, things like composition come into play, and they're really important for something larger scale, or even tiny. It's just to be finished, to be a polished final piece of art. I think composition needs to be part of it. Sorry, you can probably hear the dog in the background. She keeps wanting to be let out and then wanting to be let back in. There you go. Go on. Okay. Sorry about that. Composition, right. Okay, so I think composition is a big part of what makes a picture appealing, what makes a picture seem to be finished or seem to be of professional quality. And it's something that I don't really usually have to deal with because I do things like this. There's no real placement involved here. I'm just trying to fill the page. So these paintings I'm planning on doing, are going to take a lot more planning and therefore a lot more work. And right now I'm debating between doing them in acrylics or possibly even oils, or doing them digitally and just doing prints. Since this is an art show where we're trying to sell things, I'm thinking originals would do better. And I can always do prints of those also. It's just more work. It's a little more difficult. Also, I had the idea today. I need to float this with the guys who are thinking about putting together the show. We should do like a show book, like when you go to an exhibit or a museum show, they always have a guide, like sort of a gallery guide to the show where the reproductions of the artwork and stuff. Maybe each artist could have a 2-page spread, one page about them and the other page the artwork. Just an idea, just a way to add extra value. I think anything we can do to sort of get our names associated with the show in general and with our art in particular would be good. I still don't know where this show's planned to be, but I'm assuming it's going to be one of the small galleries that are sort of in the suburbs of the cities. There's a really kind of an artsy suburb here called Newtown in Sydney. This is for the people who don't live in Sydney. Obviously, people who live here, you know already. But there are lots of galleries in Newtown. I think there's like 5 on the main street. And there's some galleries all over in the smaller towns too. I'm sure they each have their own distinctive flavor and everything. I'm not sure where our kind of stuff would fit, but I'm thinking Newtown's a pretty good bet. It's a bit bohemian. There's an art school there. You know, things like that. I think that kind of thing would work. I think everyone else is planning to do comic-related stuff or just general things. People have mentioned sketchbooks, prints, all manner of things really. So I'm pretty sure anything would be fine. I just want to make sure that I can put my best foot forward with this thing. Maybe even sell an original. That'd be kind of nice. I've never actually done that before. Well, no, that's true. I haven't done that in Australia yet. So it'd be nice to do that. Here I get into my little shaky hand texture method. Again, no planning. You can't plan this kind of thing because it comes out, you can tell at the end I didn't plan anything. Because his arms look all dangly. But it's fun. It's just mark making really. And I like that. So sometimes it's fun to just cut loose. But like I said, for things like the show, for my portfolio, for jobs, hopefully, I'm going to have to get in the mindset of planning a lot more. And once I get the plan down, like if I have a really solid sketch, and I know how I'm going to light it, then I can do the shaky hand texture stuff that I like to do. Because I think it's effective if you use it right, you know? Sorry, sometimes I fall quiet here. I'm just looking at the shakiness of the camera as I held it with my other hand. It came out better than I thought it would. I was a little worried that I'd be constantly out of frame and zooming in and out of focus every time I moved my hand, but it's not so bad. Considering the idea of doing recording longer sessions without commentary and then speed painting kind of thing, playback with commentary like this, but I think that might kind of, I don't know. I've always said the challenge is not really about work. It's not about producing something in 10 minutes. It's about working for 10 minutes. And it hasn't really been an issue so far because so far I've only had about 10 minutes to work anyway. So you record the whole thing and you either voice it over then or you do a voiceover later. But if I'm going to work on long form stuff for the show especially, I'll have to find more time obviously. And I won't be able to record everything all the time because editing this little video here took me longer than my setup at home, because I had to cut it in. You noticed earlier it started out landscape format and rotated over. I had to do that in the software because like an idiot, I recorded it vertically because I thought since it was a vertical image I'd be able to get a bigger image on the screen that way. Just not thinking. Again, apologies for that. Those black bars on the side are my fault. Getting the hang of this video thing. We'll see. I also noticed I've been talking really fast. Sorry about that too. My accent's a little hard to understand sometimes, especially here in Sydney. Got kind of a slightly southern fried Midwestern dialect, even though I've never lived in the Midwest. I watched a lot of TV growing up, and I deliberately forced myself to speak like the people on TV. But that's a whole other kettle of psychological fish. It's funny, here in Australia, no one can tell what state I'm from. I think I'm Canadian half the time. I think I finally mellowed out enough to not take that as an immediate insult. There's nothing. I love Canada. I've never been to Canada, but I've met lots of Canadians, and they're really cool people. So I've got no problem with Canada, guys. This guy's starting to look like Gorn from Star Trek, if he was a cartoon drawn by someone who's rushed. Maybe I have a lot of old TV shows in my head still. I'm still trying to figure out the pupil thing. Would it be better with pupils? Like tiny little dot pupils to make him look crazy? Or would he look better with giant realistic frog eyes? Slit pupils or something? Or maybe like round pupils like a frog? I don't know. It's not the kind of thing you would test out in something like this with the ink. You'd have to do it in sketch and see what it looked like. So I find you can always leave the pupils out for a monster if you don't mind them looking creepy. If creepy's okay, then pupils are gone, it's always fine. Because that's what it does, it makes them look pretty creepy. And to me, it always looks like they're illuminated somehow. Like they're glowing. Because they're so bright against everything else. Anyway, as exciting as it is, I'm sure, for people to listen to me muse about my own stuff here, this one's almost done. So I just want to thank everybody for watching. Keep working on your stuff, keep making things, and make sure you do everything you can to get your art out there. I will see you folks tomorrow. Thanks again. Take care.